I make this music for you, and I just hope that you love it. But regardless if you do or not, tough love. Let's set it straight. You're listening to the great. No longer have to wait. I push my product state to state. I know the key of life is measured love and hate. They told me never to do it, but I've been testing fate. The odds is all against us, dodging this and this. I kept it loyal from day one for all my listeners. I got that love for you, keep one in the glove for you. And when that trouble pop off, I'm a bust for you. Problems, they gotta get it. That's the problem, niggas. When I get ready to start, y'all niggas never finish. I mash harder than most. I'm the ghost apprentice. I don't lose to win. That's not why I'm in this. She like my verbal quickness. Can I get a witness? Shorty with the brown eyes, she wanna get the business. I took that ass to class, she call it fitness. Old dog with new tricks, society's menace. Tough love. Tough love. Tough love. Tough love. Oh, you don't know, like, I got love for you, right? Oh, you playing games, right? Oh, like I don't be down here doing my shit every night, cooking it up real hot and fresh and giving it to you on the plate so you can learn something for your mind, body, and soul. I'm at the keyboard, either or, dog, I see more. Blast and explosion compared to C4. Soft but hardcore, underground no more. Time to take my talent to South Beach and make war. Then tour the NYC. When I leave, they gave me core of the apple. Then I travel to places with no floor. Then I open the door. They said this nigga is back. I said, hold up, homeboy.
I'm just trying
to get that and rotate on my axis
like rotisserie racks.
Orbit planet sun known with a propeller pad. Powered by the sun. And
what's up, y'all? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? Let me go ahead and introduce myself. This is Sante. We back in the place to be. Let me go ahead. I'm hooking up the phone line real quick. You know, I'm playing a little bit of myself, but let me go ahead and put my theme music on like Mr. Dion be saying. Play my theme music. And we get the show officially started. We got to start the show off right, y'all. Got to start the show off right. Yeah, they never take me alive. I'm getting high with my 4-5 cocked on these. Time to die, even ever youngster, kicking ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool all through high school, kicking up dust, but now I'm labeled as a troublemaker. Who could I blame? Smoking, get away the pain. Now I'm hopeless. Down the freeway swerving, don't worry. I'm about to crash up on the curb cause the vision's blurry. Maybe if they tried to understand me, what could I do? I had to feed my family, what else could I do but be a thug? Fucking with the homies, start rolling with the homies in the club. Got my mind on danger, never been a stranger to homicide. My hood is full of gang bangers and drive-bys. Why do we die at an early age? He was so, but another front page. My memories of a court, mind full of thoughts, and I ain't going back to court. So what you thought? My Hennessy running from my live to be the 3. It's so much pain. Okay, we gotta do that one more time. We gotta start the show right. One more time. One more time. One more time. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta do this one more time. One more time. One more time. We gonna do this one more time. Here we go. Hold on, let me share it first. Hold on, somebody want me to send them the link real quickly. So let me go ahead and send this link. Well, we might have new people coming in tonight. Let me see here. All right. Welcome anybody and everybody that's in, you know what I'm saying? All right, everybody, let's go ahead and start this all over, and let's go ahead and start it the right way. We're gonna start the show the right way, and I gotta go ahead and I gotta go. I'm gonna go in it. We're gonna start the show the right way. Let me turn me up a little bit. Here we go. Then we gonna get in. They never take me alive. I'm getting high with my 4-5 cocked on these. Time to die, even as a youngster, kicking ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool all through high school, kicking up dust, but now I'm labeled as a troublemaker. Who could I blame? Smoking weed help me take away the pain, cause I'm hopeless. Rolling down the Speedway, swerving. Don't worry, I'm about to crash up on the curb, cause my vision blurry. Maybe if they tried to understand me, what else could I do? I had to feed my family, what else could I do but be a thug? Fuck hanging with the homies in the glove. Got my mind on danger. Never been a stranger to homicide. My hood is full of gang bangers and drive-bys. Why do we die at an early age? He was so young, but still a victim of the 12 gauge. My memories of a court, mind full of sick thought. And we ain't going back to court. So what you thought? We smoking Hennessy, running from my enemies. What I live to be 53. It's so much pain. Oh, it's so much pain. Welcome to WYAC. It's so much pain. It's so much pain. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Any and everybody that's watching tonight. I sent out the link to a couple of people. If you want to pop in, you most definitely can. You most definitely can. Sent it out to a couple of people, and I'm looking for it. If you want to come on in, please feel free and feel welcome. But last night we had, April came in, was an impromptu co-host. And like I told her, now she is recruited. Let's see here. Let's see. We got Kia, I sent Derek I sent Derek the link. If he's available, please come on. If he's not, I get it. I understand. D wins. Let me see. Never pick me. Right. So, yeah, I'm on tonight. So last night we had Gil Garrett that was announced. Well, Gil Garrett didn't announce it on the show, but I'm going to be honestly, Gil Garrett did announce a month ago that he will be running for mayor here on Pontiac WYAC, like January 1st or 2nd. He announced, well, it was a quote-unquote announcement because he said if Tim Grimo doesn't run, he was going to, run. And everybody at the moment thought that Tim was going to be running, so we pretty much didn't know, and it was a surprise. But now he's in the race. So far we have Gil Garrett, we have Kermit Williams, and we have Mike McGinnis. I know all three. I know Mike. I've worked with Mike. I know Kermit. Not on a deep or a personal level or anything like that, but I know he's a good guy. He has an affinity for Pontiac. Of course, I know that. And Gil, I know him too. And Gil is a good guy. All three of them are good men. So I'm looking for whoever might be coming out soon or whatever. And, hey, hopefully may the best man win. And I'm here for it. So we had also an impromptu. We had an impromptu co-host, more or less. We had April Forbes, and I sent April. I know she ain't even see it, but I sent April the link. So I don't know if April is watching or whatever the case may be. But April, if you watching, please check your DM. The link is sent to your email, so you can pop on if you like. I sent Derek Wins the link. I sent Coco Motor the link. I sent Scoob the link. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to send one more person the link. And I think the person I'm going to send is I'm going to send Tony Rowe. I'm going to send Tony Rowe the link. I'm sending Tony Rowe the link to his DM if he's watching. Come on in. So tonight, I guess it'd be a continuation of last night. It was an impromptu visit that we had with. Also, I sent another young lady She kind of thinks like me. I don't know if she gonna be on here or not. You know what I'm saying? But I sent it to her. Reese. She's not from Pontiac, but I sent it to her, and she kind of thinks like me on fire as the president. You know, I know I'm in the minority, but you know, she wants to come on. She can come on. She can come on. So anybody and everybody that's in the link to can come on. Not only that, you guys can also come on and come on to, you know, 905-1128, 248-905-1128. 248-905-1128 is the phone number. If you would like to call, you can do that. So I got Reese, I got Tony Rowe, Derek Wins, Coco Molder. I sent if they want to come on. April, I sent April. And Scoop G. If you want to come on, come on. Lines is open for you, 248-905-1128. So we had, last night we was getting into the discussion of the DEI. We're going to go ahead and talk about it right here. Let's see here. The DEI, the tariffs, the U.S. aid, the ICE, and the deportations. That was one of the things that I was talking about last night. And April and I was talking about that, and then Gil came in and we began to talk about, you know, his campaign and him running or whatever the case may be. But I'll be straight up with you. I think, in my opinion, I think the president is doing a doggone great job. I think the president is doing a good job. He's going into these, and I'm not saying that just to be jabbing and picking at people. I don't even think people really looking at what it is that he's accomplished in the first 2 or 3 weeks. Think about it with the USAID, how much has been cut with that US aid, all that fluff spending. That, did you know that they went in? This was just today that they found out. FEMA spent like $51 million to basically pay for hotels and high-end hotels and everything like that for, you know, people that came over here illegally to be in New York, to live in, you know, high expensive hotels and motels and stuff. Hotels, not motels, hotels. $51 million. Just as of last week, FEMA spent that money out. That was, you know, dumb spending. And I'm going to tell you why that was dumb spending. That was dumb spending because when the hurricane hit, when did the hurricane hit? Hurricane hit North Carolina. Hurricane Helene hit North Carolina. FEMA said they didn't have no money. FEMA told these people that they didn't really have no money. FEMA told the people that. But come to find out, FEMA is sending money to hotels in New York City for immigrants to live. Now, come on, man. So you can't take care of your own citizens and your own citizenship? So I really think, I'm be honest with you, a lot of this frivolous spending is getting kicked out of here. And I'm glad. I'm glad a lot of this frivolous spending is getting cut to a lot of these countries and these places that don't even actually need it. You know what I mean? Like it's our tax money and nobody seems to kind of, you know, be worried about that type of stuff. And then they feeling like Elon Musk is going too far, like he's, you know, too ahead of the, you know, he got his hands on too much of the government activity. Well, here's the thing. He's a head of a board. He's a head of a committee. And his job, and he was charged to go in. He was charged to go in and do some cleanup and cuts. And he found fluff spending, where your taxes and my tax dollars is going to. You know, not only that, the man, they're talking about the man is getting our social security numbers and our information. Look, man, Facebook got your social security and information. Not only Facebook got it, Instagram, TikTok. Nobody wants your information. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me see here. The kid wins. Trump, the tramp, was sending PPE to Putin, and Americans. United States sent PPE not just to Russia. PPE was sent to Europe and Africa too. People just say just because he was sending it to Russia. United States, here's the thing, PPE was being sent from United States to Canada and Mexico too. People, you can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose, So you send it to Canada and you send it to Mexico and you send it to, you were sending PPE also to China. So what's the difference? What's the difference? I think at the end of the day, United States needs to stop, I ain't gonna say stop helping or being the world's police, but I think United States have to and be in a position to go ahead and stop doing as much internationally. You gotta rein back. Not saying take all international aid out the books, you can't do that. And I wouldn't suggest doing that. But it's a lot of stuff that the United States is spending money on that it has no business being spent on. Oh, also, Miss Bobby Benton, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Bobby Benton. She just released a book. And let me go ahead to it. I'm going to go to her page, and I want to share this right now. I want to share it. While anybody that's watching, let's go to her page, and we're going to share this. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Bobby Benton. Let's go ahead and just share what we got here. On the spot. Go check her book out. She just released a book. It's called Cut. It's kind of, hold on, it's out on Amazon now. It's called Cut the Bullshit, if I'm not mistaken. Cut the Bull. And she got a book. Not only that, it comes with a deck of playing cards that comes with it. It's on Amazon. I need to go ahead. I told her I would talk about it if I came on. Let me go ahead and take that off. But yeah, she just dropped this book. It's out now. Let me see if I can get a better picture of it right here. I'm trying to see because I want you guys to get a good look at it. Actually, I might go ahead and send Bobby the link also, so Bobby can probably come on and talk about it real quick. Want to give a good plug out to Bobby Benton. Bobby, I'm going to go ahead and send you the link too, so you can, if you got a chance, you can come on real quick and talk about your book real quick and talk about your cards and what it is and let the people know what it is. So Bobby, I just sent you the link. If you want to pop on, you can. But like I said, I think the United States needs to stop it. I think the United States needs to stop it. I think Trump doing a heck of a good job. I mean, for real. I mean, and I don't care who don't like it. And also even with the tariffs, I think the tariffs have been a good job too. The tariffs have actually been working. Everything that the man said he was going to do, he came in and actually did. And it actually is kind of working. Like the world ain't blown up. Ain't nothing went crazy. Tariffs actually working. The strategy of it is working. It's going to work out. It's going to be okay. I think the USAID, what they're doing is a good thing. What's up, Tony? Tony, I just sent you the link, bro. Tony, I just sent you the link. If you want to pop on, bro. I sent you the link. If you got a chance, an opportunity to come on, please do. Tony, I just sent you the link. So I think the USAID, I think what's happening with USAID is actually good. Now, one of the big topics, April might come on. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if she come on or not. Now, me and April was talking about the deportation and the ICE situation last night. And I don't think, me personally, it's like you have to do something about it. And people, here's the thing about it. Like nobody really, why is it so magnified now that this man is doing it, deportations? Like Obama really did a lot of deportations. I mean, he came out and said that's what he was going to do, and it wasn't this much kickback or protesting. But when it comes to the deportation, I understand because some people, their family's going to be broken. I understand. Ain't nothing nice about families being broken up. But the things that you're able to do in the United States, you can't do in other countries. You got to have a way to do this stuff. And I know trying to get legal citizenship is a hard thing to do. I know we talked about this last night, April. Hopefully April can get on. But there's no other country. I can't go to China and do it. I can't go to Canada. I can't go to any South American country. You can't do that in African countries and just go there and be there and then also get the benefit of that country. You can't do it. So it's something that the United States has to do about the situation. We just can't keep it like it was. We can't just keep it how it was. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's only right. It's only right that something has to happen. And, but especially, it's like almost a few bad apples ruin the bunch. When you have a lot of, when you have a situation where you have like a lot of gang activity, I can see if certain situations was happening where there wasn't a lot of crime that was coming along with it or gang activity. That'd be different. But you have situations where you have a lot of crime and gang activity that's coming along with it. So you got to do something. Do you suggest? And if we do nothing, what is the suggestion that we do? Is anybody giving a suggestion for a solution? So you got to do something. And so I've been seeing a lot of protests, not even just in Pontiac. I see protests in, different other cities around the way. And I get it. I understand. I mean, I get it. But you have to do something. Things can't continue to stay the same. Like I say, the deportations, the ICE situation, I know that that's a hard deal, hard pill. But also, so the U.S. aid, I think, is doing well. Honestly, I really do. I think they cut and they finding the money and they finding where the money is going to in the wrong places. I think USAID, and USAID is just such a code word for people to be mistaken of what USAID really is. It doesn't mean that the U.S. is aiding. It just means that it's a department, and that USAID make it sound like it's a good department. But what that department is actually doing is just throwing away a lot of our tax-earned money. That's what it's doing. And they have been finding and reporting daily where frivolous millions have been misappropriated, even to nonprofits, made up nonprofits, for profits. And that's one thing I want to talk about too one day, maybe talk about nonprofits, but really for-profit business, we can talk about that too. So, also, I know a lot of people had a lot of ideas. I'm going to go ahead and hit the share button. Check my... Okay, April said she'd jump on and maybe we can get a little convo with her talking about that. I know a lot of people's... Oh, here we go, Miss... Oh, there she go. Uh-oh. Here she go. Hold on. Here we go.
How you doing, Sante?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh, we here.
What'd I miss?
Well, I was just talking about, actually, I was picking up where we left off from last night before Gil popped on. and we were talking about, the ICE situation,
Mm-hmm.
and or I was talking about the ICE situation for a second, and the DEI and the tariffs and the U.S. aid and all that type of thing. So I was saying how I feel like, I believe the administration is doing actually. I'm not disappointed with the job that's going on. I know you seem different about it,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm I'm cool with, and I respect that. You know what I mean? But I don't feel like it's going bad, April. I really don't. But I know your
Yeah.
take is different.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you, I think we both agree that there has to be reform. Um, and I'm not disputing that. I do agree that there needs to be reform, and we just can't just let anybody just come all willy nilly, because the reality of it is that um, it's not the same when we want to be citizens of other countries.
Right.
They have stipulations, financial stipulations. They have, a pathway. What I'm disputing is just the way in which it's being done.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the ugly parts of it, and it's the fact that we call ourselves the United States. Words matter.
Yeah.
Um, this the America, United States of America, was founded on the principle of it being a melting pot. We didn't ask, our culture, we didn't ask to be here. We were brought here. But everybody else came here because they were seeking opportunities.
Hmm.
And we have to realize that the people that came here seeking those opportunities, the Irish, the Germans, coming and seeking these opportunities. Hi.
That's Mr. Tony Rowe, by the way. I don't know if you guys know each other.
Good evening,
No,
everyone.
good to meet you.
Likewise, likewise. Congratulations on the book. That's your book that Sante was just referencing.
Tony, you breaking up a little bit, and no, this is not Bobby Benton. Bobby Benton is the young lady that I was talking about that had a book. This is April Forbes. She's a business owner around about in the ways of Oakland County, Pontiac, and now in Waterford,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yep. So she actually joined me last night, man. We had with. Sorry to cut you off, April. I want to let April get back to her point, but just to make the acquaintance, yeah, she joined last night as an impromptu host, so she doesn't know that she's really recruited now, and
That's
so
fine.
this is April Forbes, and then we have Mr. Tony Rowe right here. Tony, if you want to go ahead and make your formal introduction to the young lady here.
All right, nice to meet you, April. Again, Tony Rowe at Sante 4 minutes. Born and raised here in the
Your
city of
your
Pontiac.
audio blanking in and out, Tony.
Okay, let me try to get it together.
All right, go ahead, April. While you were saying.
So yeah, so I was saying that I'm not disputing the fact that there needs to be reform. We do need to secure our borders, but the way the media is portraying this is just so whack, and we did touch on this a little bit last night, about the Obama administration doing the same thing as other presidents have done in the past. I mean, this has been the ongoing thing forever and a day in United States history. But
Hmm.
there also has been moments in United States history where they made a oopsie and was like, "Oh wait, we deported too many people." And we need them back. And when we talk about Operation Wetback, which I
I never
encourage.
heard of that before.
Oh yeah,
Operation Wetback?
oh yeah, Operation
I'm
Wetback.
about
Yes.
to
So
look that
there
up.
was,
Wow.
yep. So there was a time where again, um, it always seems like it's the same people that are being targeted. It's the same um It's the same culture being targeted. It always seems like it's always Mexicans, right? And that's all we're seeing, even unfairly to this day. That's all we see in media. And it's caused tension. It's caused a lot of tension. And like we touched on yesterday, immigrants don't look just like one people. It's just not brown people. There's white immigrants too, So why aren't we showing them on media? And it creates hate, and it incites hate, which our president seems okay with doing. And
Really?
yeah, I think that's kind of where my qualms lie. I'm not disputing that we need reform.
Right.
The pathway, like, we as a people, I think more importantly as Black culture, we need to, before we jump on any bandwagons and say, hey, yes, let's cheer this and champion this. We need to understand where we lie in society. Where is our role in society? Where do we fall in place in US history? Are we Donald Trump himself said, um, the immigrants are taking Black jobs. What did he mean by that? Are we all sitting here with, like, puzzled, like, what exactly did he mean by that? And we all know what he meant by that. So there's just so many layers to this issue that go um, beyond what's broken in America. Immigrants are not the issue in America. America's had issues way long
Absolutely.
before immigrants came. America continues to have issues, and we need our immigrants to make our commerce flow. So Operation Wetback, I touched on that a little bit, where it was an influx of uh, Hispanic community that was in the U.S., and they all got sent back to Mexico. Mind you, Mexico at one point was part of the United States.
Right.
This
Hmm.
is their land. Um, so then that happened, and then government realized, oh, we made a oopsie. We sent too many people back. We need them to work our meat plants. We need them to work our because the point of the matter is that forever and a day in American history, government has never wanted to pay American cities their wages. Our minimum wage is like a little dangling carrot that they put before us, where it just raises just a little bit, but it never exceeds and matches the cost of inflation. So in that this has been going on forever and ever. So I don't necessarily dispute that. I don't dispute what you're saying. I'm just saying that the way that government has gone about it is the wrong way. It's propaganda. They're using immigration as a scapegoat, and that's my perspective on it.
And I respect and I understand where you're coming from, and you make a lot of valid, good points. I just feel like now you have to do something about it now, though. I mean, because it has gotten out of control over the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, what has happened up under the administration of Biden and Harris is that the floodgates were just open. And quite honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. What I feel, what happened, what they thought was going to happen. They thought that Harris probably would have won, and in the next 3 to 4 years, the immigrants that were able to come over here, I mean, influx, millions came over within the last 3 or 4 years. That's a lot for any country to handle. Like there always been an influx of people coming in. It's always been that, and you can't almost get around that. People going to come in, but the influx and the floodgates would just seem like they were open. But I believe what the Democrats thought was going to happen is that they were going to win, and then when it was time in the next 4 years, that these immigrants, wherever they came from, not just South America, but all over, wherever they came from, were going to be registered voters. And it was going to continue to be able to have them support the Democratic Party. The Democrats, or up under that administration, as I feel, they didn't just let people in for no reason because we so benevolent and we just want people to come in. There's always a trade-off. Why are we letting millions, almost 13 million people come in over the last 3 to 4 years? Why are we letting this many people come in if we don't want these people to do something for us? As you say, there's always a propaganda where it was, in my opinion, it's using, or it's a lot of the immigrants, quote unquote, that were going to be coming over illegal were going to take actually the place of the black vote, quote unquote. And I saw during this election more Latin American, or our Latin American brothers and sisters voted for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones, it seems like, that was the deciding vote. It wasn't really a black thing against, or it seemed like the Mexican or the Latin American vote was the vote that really said, we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I think that what we saw was just so nobody could have predicted. I mean, I was shocked with the numbers and the demographic. Not so surprised that, of course, we know white women are going to
yeah,
vote
yeah.
for Donald Trump and they're majority Republican. I know that black community, we were all hoping that Kamala was going to get in, and we even and we do this as a community. Within our community, we look at each other and we pin each other. We look at each other, and then we become adversaries towards each other. Then we're looking at our black men and saying, okay, black men, we need y'all to come through and vote this black woman in. And black men came through. Then we look at the Muslim community in Dearborn, and we're like, okay, come on, y'all, come through.
Everybody voted for
And
nobody wanted them.
and
No
what
more.
what a shocker! What a shocker! They
It wasn't a
voted for
shock to
Donald
me.
Trump, and they voted for Donald Trump, and they had their own reasons because of what's going on overseas with Russia and Ukraine and Gaza. There's a lot. So there's a lot going on. I mean, what a slap in the face now to them. I bet you. I bet you they feel like a whole bunch of dummies.
You think so?
I think so. I do. I do. I think so. Especially when Donald Trump came on talking about we're going to turn the Gaza Strip into the next Rivera.
The Riviera, yeah.
Because
That's a far stretch right there. I don't know about that one now. That's
Hey, look, I
yeah.
wouldn't put nothing past this man. Like you said, I will say that Donald Trump he's been saying what he's going to say, and he's been following through.
The man seemed like he's done more. The man seemed like he's done more in these 3 weeks than Joe Biden did in for real in around 3 years. I mean, whatever Joe Biden did, I really don't know because I expect from a president. Tony, can you hear us? And can you?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
yeah, you sound real good.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
better.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
so, but I want a president, in my opinion, any leadership. You want your leadership to be visible and present and coherent, and that's as a president or a leader or whatever. That's anything, even with your job. You want to see them. That's one thing that we really didn't see. We didn't see Joe Biden much. We didn't see Kamala much, and a lot of things that they said they couldn't do, we're realizing now that they could have done. You know what I mean? So it's like how this man come into office and just immediately start doing stuff, even on the contrary, where they said they couldn't do stuff. They didn't even, we didn't even see these people. So I'm quite honest with you. I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised of the vote. I'm not surprised what's happening. And I actually think a lot of what's happening is actually, good. In my opinion. What say you, Mr. Rowe?
Didn't really get an opportunity to hear the entire conversation, but just chiming in on what I've heard so far. I agree with you 100%, Asante. That it seemed like he came in, Trump came in, hit the ground running. hit the ground running. And I'm not a I haven't been a Trump supporter in
Mhm.
times past. I did vote Republican this year, but
Mm.
in my opinion, it was almost like uh, in terms of voting and looking at policies and things, it seemed like it was almost like choosing the worst or the two evils in my the lesser of the two evils in my opinion. But I knew that we had survived a Trump uh, presidency before, and in many cases, a lot of people would say that the African American community during that time was a lot of
Uh,
people didn't even want to return back to work. They would prefer to live off of unemployment and what was it, PPP loans, and
PPP. Yeah.
it seemed like it just had been a lot of finances flowing. So I saw as policies to be more to my morals and values this time around, and not necessarily to say that even now that I'm this gung ho Trump supporter like we know individuals to be, but of course it does seem like this time around, man, he may just even be possibly even an even better president.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean, hey, I respect that. I respect that. I think that that's what makes the world go round, right? Just we had to have differences of opinion, and we
Hmm.
have to have. Um, I vote. I'm a Democrat. I don't consider myself a lifelong Democrat because like I said, I'm a policy person. The policy's got to align, just like with what you said, Tony. Policy has to align with morals and values. Um, I when I saw that Project 2025,
Hmm.
a lot of people didn't believe that, and we see that, and that was the playbook. That's the playbook that is now being played out, and I didn't want to leave that up to chance whether or not that was a false narrative or if that was true. But the dismantling of so many programs and so many things that we depend on as a culture, and everybody is at different facets of their life, right? But we have an obligation as a culture and just as a people, that no matter where we are in our journey to success, that we consider the people that may not be on the same level as us, right? So when I looked at that Project 2025, I said this has a lot of impact on not only me but people that I know. People, my in-laws who are on Social Security, who depend on their medications every month, who depend on um, subsidize uh, uh,
Programs.
subsidized programs,
Hmm.
and those programs are being in jeopardy now. And I do, and I understand your point as well. Somebody said that this might be what we need as a culture to jumpstart what we should have been doing this whole time, which is like creating our own banks, creating our own. The worst thing that could have happened to us in history is that we bought the notion that we should be integrated, right? Like like we thought, and still to this day we operate in ways as a culture that we feel like in order for us to blend or be on the same level as white America, we have to have the fancy cars, we got to have the big house with the picket fence, we got to have the jewelry, we got to have all these things, and we don't realize that we are like the largest consumer. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, they play us. They know how to market to our demographic. They know exactly how to get to us, and we take the dangling carrot all the time. And so we we thought that what we wanted was to be integrated with the rest of white America, and look at us now. We don't have as a culture anything that is black infrastructure. Um, we don't have, when we go and pay our bills, when we go pay our DTE bills, we don't have no grids, we don't have no gas, we don't have any of that. We depend on a
But you
completely.
but
Go
you
ahead.
know but you know what, April? And this is in my opinion, well, not, I feel it's a deeper meaning to why we as a people are in this position, and it really doesn't have too much to do with white America or white people. It has to do with us as a people being a disobedient people
Mm,
to God, because I feel like we are the actual chosen people biblically. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that us being biblically, we are the people that the Bible is talking about. Um, you know, and I know that's a deep conversation to go into, but
yeah, that's a
those,
conversation. I know where you're going
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
So,
That's
so I
that's
that,
another topic right
yeah.
there.
So what I'm saying is that we're I feel like we as a people, as far as blacks, so the Mexican or the colored people of this world are the most downtrodden because we are the ones that are actually the ones. That's how I
Mhm.
feel. I mean, like you said, that's a whole different topic, but um, yeah, it's a deep reasoning behind, I believe, all of that. And I think white people are just the instrument to play out their part in our suffering or our lack of. It's really ourselves that put ourselves in these positions, or our forefathers, in
Mm.
my opinion. Um, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? What say you, Tony? Because this could go down a spiral here.
Yeah, I think our mindsets, man, it has been a lot of us come from a lack mentality and a poverty mindset, man, and many of us fall into what's known as the crab in the bucket mentality, where we other cultures and ethnicities in many cases will help each other, or try to give each other a hand up, as opposed to us as African Americans, man, and Black people. A lot of times we don't want to see the other person doing better than us. We
Right.
prefer to go and support. If my brother has a store, or whatever it might be, a grocery store, instead of me going to spend my dollar and keeping my dollar in the community with him or her, we prefer to go and spend that with another ethnicity that has the same type of business. It doesn't even have to be anything more that they offer. We just fail to support each other. I seen a documentary with Big Mike, with Killer Mike, out in Atlanta, and he did like I think it was maybe a weekend or a day or something like that, where he was only going to spend money within and keep money in the African American and community, and it was impossible for him to do that, because even if it's not just the face of the business or whatnot. When you look deeper into the layer of the business, even if it was buying a tire from the tire shop, or even going to a grocery store, in many cases, uh, the next layer was still owned by another race or whatnot. And so, it only allows our money to circulate within the community for so long, whereas other races and ethnicities, for instance, maybe the Jewish population,
Mhm.
their dollar remains in their community for a longer period of time.
Because we're not the producers. Even with the like your with your business, April.
Mhm.
How far, or even if I need to buy equipment or camera, there's no black manufacturer of a camera. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? There's
right.
or a computer.
Yeah.
Who makes the machines that mix your cakes. You know what I
So
mean?
And so that's the thing. We have to realize that when we're talking about immigrants and stuff, like when we're talking about immigration, we are all products of immigration. We've been exploited ourselves as a people, and that's what America has done for the longest, is exploit all races. You know who is not exploited? It's not white people. White people don't exploit each other. So, but they exploit every race. I get back to my point, when we had opportunities to build our banks, to build our own schools, to build uh, be, our own clothing and our own infrastructure. um, we bought into what we thought was the American dream, and we were sold this idea that we wanted to be like our white counterparts, and we fell for it. And there's power in numbers. This is why the Jewish community is able to circulate their dollar within their community, because they have tunnel vision. Within their tunnel vision, they are intentional with, I'm going to support this person that has the cow, and I'm going to buy my meat from this person, and he's going to butcher it, and we're going to trade. We're not, because it's not always, commerce is not always done, and it hasn't been done in the past with just dollars.
Right.
It's just been more community filled. And I think that is something, as a Black culture, that we need to get back to. It's not just always just about dollars. It's just about being intentional with how we spend, how we interact with each other, and how we even view each other. We got to go into these establishments, our Black owned establishments, and say, you know what, even if they're having an off day or whatever the case may be, we have to give grace. And we as a people, we don't always do that. And I don't know what it is, and why it's like that. But we've got to do better in that realm. And then now we talk about DEI, and we've got Black America saying, some of Black America saying, um, oh, well, we didn't need DEI anyways because I want to get hired on my merit. And it's like, where are we coming from with this? We do need DEI. We absolutely need DEI, because DEI was protected everybody except white men. DEI included more than just Black. It was not a black and white initiative. It was a everybody else except white men initiative. And here we are again, falling for this bad bill of what we think is what we want. And I will say that, had it not been, I know opportunities in my life, certainly going to college and probably even some jobs, I probably have been a recipient of affirmative action or DEI initiatives. Um, and maybe you have too, and maybe Tony has, and maybe we just, so we cannot forget the fact that some these are not leg ups. These are just a way of policy being put in place, because if those policies are not in place, we get overlooked. And if
But
we want to be the part of the fabric, of the American fabric, rather than building our own, then we got to play the game. So being part of the American fabric of corporate world, we do need DEI initiatives.
well, I think that it's a difference between DEI and affirmative action.
Oh yeah.
And I think the affirmative action piece, if I'm not mistaken, that has to do with the equal type of thing of hiring. And as a mass scale, that's not done away with. You know what I'm saying? But as far as when I think that the only thing that he put in play was the DEI, and when it went to government situations, which he controls. You know what I mean? He is the president. He controls federal type of things, but that's not for every business. But even like this, I worked at United Wholesale Mortgage that they're down in Pontiac now. But even 10, 15 years ago, they were only hiring one Black person that actually had a real good job. You didn't find a lot of 15 years ago, you didn't find they hired a Black person, but you have mailroom, You wouldn't have a guy that was the top, or close to the top, or had a real good white position, white boy job. That's what my grandma said. You got a white boy job.
Yeah, huh?
But it's only one black guy or two black guys that get a white boy job in those type of situations. So they hire you because they have to,
Right.
but what type of job are you going to get while you're there? They will hire most of the guys that are black to be in the mailroom or taking, I mean, I'm not just saying that about United Wholesale. Flag Star Bank was the same
Oh,
way. I
all
used
of
to work
them.
there. All of
Yeah.
them. So they just hiring you because they have to fill a quota. But they're
Yeah.
not hiring you for great positions though, even if you are qualified. And but I noticed that in my little time working with Chase and United Wholesale, and I was ticked off at them because I already knew that I wasn't gonna get no higher than the. I don't want to say it like this.
Just say
What
it.
no, what pissed me off is that the dumb the dumbest white boy came in and got a position higher than me, and I was there for 10
Hmm.
years. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So, and that happened at United Wholesale Mortgage.
That's what I was gonna say.
So,
A lot of
yeah.
times we come in as DEI hires, and we've got more merit than the person, than the than,
So
the,
just
than
because they
our
hire
than our
you,
colleague.
yeah, just because they hire you because they need to, be careful. Um,
I've heard it said before. I
yeah,
don't know if this could be factually proven or
go
whatnot,
ahead.
but I've heard the saying before that a black man with a college degree is the equivalent in this country to a white man with a felony, and that kind
Mm,
of that stood out to me, man.
Yeah,
That's
mm.
yeah, that's I don't know if that can be proven statistically
I think you're
or
right.
whatnot, but yeah,
I
so
think
that's
you could be
crazy.
right. So I
Yeah.
mean, but as us as a people, and I know we always talking about we should come together and we spend amongst our own, like Tony was talking about, even trying to patronize our own people. You know what I mean? Like, I think we passed that point, and I don't want to be a pessimist, not looking at the glass half full. I want to look at it like that, but I'm being a realist and looking at what we are and where we are. And at this point, it ain't even. I'm looking at us as tribes at this moment. It ain't even the collective as a black people. To me, it's more of a collective of who your tribe is.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And you work within that. You know what I mean? Of like-minded people, and you try to build with them. It ain't even about. It's getting to the point now. I feel like white people are feeling the crunch and the crunch and the sting too.
Absolutely,
Mm.
but I think they also better educate generations, and they're more I say intentional in terms of leaving legacy and educating their children and their children's children. And man, I went to and I wouldn't have never been able to have the comparison had what not one time I was attending a high school out in Saginaw, Michigan. It was in a suburban area. If you were at this particular high school, really you were a part of this camp that we were in out in Saginaw and Boysville, in Michigan. But we had the luxury of going to a public high school out there, and coming from Pontiac Northern and going out there, I noticed that a lot of what they were offering, different classes and things like that, even there, we didn't offer that
Mm.
here,
Mm.
in Pontiac and at our just urban high school. I was in an accounting class in high school. I think it was 10th grade or something like that. I was in an accounting class and really felt like I had a knack for the accounting. It had gotten my attention, and it had kind of developed a passion for that. But upon arriving back in Pontiac, being able to get into an accounting class, that wasn't even possible for me. So I mean, and I don't even think it was anything that was offered at all in our community at high school. And so even just financial literacy,
Mhm.
accounting would go even in, I think would fall up under that umbrella. It just seems like they are more intentional about preparing their children, for the workplace.
I don't necessarily feel it's I mean I feel like it's partial intention and partial design.
Absolutely.
There's there's it doesn't make any sense that you can go to approximately 10 minutes away and be in Bloomfield and have just a better education, better everything, top of the line computers,
Mhm.
even teachers, better pay, all of that 10 minutes away. And
Same county.
yeah, and same county at that, and then be in Pontiac or Auburn Hills or Lake Orion and have completely different educations. So it's a lot of that. I feel is partial design, a design that that was set up for us since the beginning. Since we were segregated from schools, um, and we wanted to integrate and be a part of white schools. What happened? White people pulled their kids out of schools, moved to different areas, and we had redlining, the beginning of redlining, and our education system for our Black and Brown communities fell by the wayside, and it has continued to be that way. The tax base America should not use the tax base as a merit of education for a student. A student here in the US should be afforded the same education all across the board. There shouldn't be no school of choice. It should be same exact curriculum. So if I live in Texas and I move to Michigan, I should be getting the same level of quality of education um, that I had when I lived in Texas. And that's just not the way it is. And that is all by design. It's not coincidence that our Black and Brown communities are suffering with lack of education, lack of programming, lack of mentorship, lack of teachers because they're not getting paid well. It's all part of the design.
What do we do then? Because we've been saying this same argument for over 60, 70, 80, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what do we do? Knowing nothing has really changed. Things have consistently worsened. You know what I mean? So what do we do knowing all of this now? It's like,
I think, like what you said, Asante, I think that we need to go back to our village mentality. And I think that we need to go back to, creating our tribes. Like, and then also just because we say, okay, you know what, we're going to surround ourselves with this particular type of like-minded people. It doesn't mean that we don't bring others up with us, right? So we all have an obligation to, like Tony mentioned, we have the crabs in the bucket, the crabs in the barrel mentality. As a culture, just like any other culture that does it, the Arab community does it, the
but that's the problem now,
Latino.
April. You know what? That's the problem, April. I think the
Mm.
problem now is not they've done such of a good job. They really don't have to do too much no more. You know what I'm saying? It's really
And they don't
us.
depend on us.
Right.
Nobody. We're the only culture that depends on everybody else. They don't
And
depend. They have their own
they got their
churches,
own
their
ecosystem.
grocery stores.
They
They
got their
got their
own
own
ecosystem.
churches, their grocery stores. They're going to import their own spices, their own. You know, they, and that's we're not quite there yet. We're just not there yet. How do we change that? We're having these conversations tonight, and it's something that the community knows. How do we change that? We start talking more about it, and then we make.
Hey, we need to make some executive orders tonight. I know I'm laughing or making a joke, but it's like, what can you do? Yeah, we having a conversation, but to get to a point where talking is that's it. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the action plan? And like you said, or more or less, it is linking with people that's like minded and bringing people in or whatever that coincides with. But you might have a tribe of two. Because right now it just feels like
Okay.
they've done such a good job. "Quote unquote," white people don't have to do anything else more or less to us. It's we're infighting at this point. Or some black people, and we all know it, they clicked up, they have a higher education, or they have something that they feel puts them there, and they don't want to. They're on a higher tier, and they don't want to reach to the lower tier black or Mexican, brown person, whoever, and bring them up to put them on. That's a lot of black people fear that that are in the have. They don't
Mhm.
want the have nots to come up and get what they have. You know what I'm
I
saying?
do.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree with you, Asante. And then also, how do we have these? How do we cast a broader net with these types of conversations? Because a lot of times it's preaching to the choir. You
yeah,
know, we because the mentality that yourself or April may have, the people that really need to hear these conversations are not the ones I probably guarantee you right now are not the one that's
listen.
chiming into this and and listening to it because they feel like it's not for them. But like you said, we've
Mm,
had a job done on us to the point where many of us have already pretty much thrown in the towel on
Mhm.
going to the next level or reaching a certain level or of success or a tax or income bracket or whatever it might be. Communities like ours. It's just not something that's attractive to the people that actually need to hear it and need to be educated on it and I think it's really hard to I mean it's not impossible but it's really hard to teach a old dog new tricks for what the old folks used to say. I think
mm,
we have to start to focus on our kids, man. It's easier to plant something. A lot of times it's easier to plant something new than to uproot something and try to replant it. And so I think we just really have to be intentional in terms of you guys and as well as myself and being intentional and I really try to do this and I've been focused on with my kids. I got grandkids now where I'm literally sitting at the table with them, whether they get impatient with it or not,
mm,
and try to expose because exposure, if if you're not exposed to anything, you really don't have any reference point or anything to compare things to. And so man, I really try to be intentional about these young in terms of my grandchildren and children within the community.
mm,
Just the exposure and because we and that was I think with us coming up we just never really had exposure to certain things where we were able to aim for certain things because we automatically kind of felt like that wasn't available uh for us and it wasn't something that people did within our community or whatnot. And so just really be intentional in terms of helping the next generation behind us be able to aim higher and really recognize that they can have a level of success which is pretty that's what relevant to whatever success looks like for them. Um,
Mhm.
right. And I feel that I'm with that.
relative. Yeah.
I will also say stop supporting. I mean, stop supporting those that we know we shouldn't be supporting. I mean, every black just because you black don't mean I need to support you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just because you're a quote unquote maybe you might be a pillar in the community, but we know you bad. We know you not good. You just have a name or you just built. You can talk real good. You're not really good though. You know what I'm saying? Because really that's how demons and the devil kind of is able to get us with the flattery of words and trickery. And make us think that they're leaders and good people, but at the same time, what they're doing is really enriching themselves and acting like they're leaders. They're really not. And so, and people can really see through that. But us, mainly, we have to, I believe, stop supporting those people. And we be the leaders or we be the change that we want. We have to be the change, like again, what Tony's saying, and teach our children, but be the change that we want. And because that's all we can really control. I mean, at the end of the day, we can preach to the choir as much as, it's hurt to say. I don't think us as a people are ready to connect yet. I don't know if it's
Mm,
time, because when it's time, it's going to happen.
right.
When that time is destined, or when God ordained for that to happen, it's going to happen. But
Yeah, I believe we're just a lot. Our people are in survival mode, and again, that's also part of the design. We're in survival mode. The times have never really been great for us. I mean, we talk about Donald Trump saying that he's going to take us back to the golden ages, and he talks about making America great. I mean, when was America great for us? When was that? Like what was the golden age for us? And so when we think about that, I don't think that our people were ever part of that agenda. We were not.
I,
We were never written as part of the script of being part of reaping the rewards that United States has. We have to create that. And I agree with what y'all are saying. It starts with our kids, and the kids, they think differently already than us. They don't have a shackled mindset. They want to flourish. I have two boys. I have a 16-year-old and I have a 20-year-old. My 16-year-old is currently taking college courses. By the time he's in 12th grade, he's already going to have an associate's degree. My job as a parent is to make sure that I protect. My husband and we do a really good job. And my husband, black man, he makes sure that his black kids don't fall into the system. And we also are very transparent with them. We give them the real. We don't hide nothing from them. They know how our 20-year-old especially, he knows how rough it is out here. He sees the bills. We talk about, we dream, and we dream in front of him, and we dream big. We don't know how to dream small, and we don't say, our language looks like, okay, son, you want to do this, you can do it. I believe that you can do it. What are the tools that are necessary to get this done? So the language has to change, and because this is what the language sounds like in other communities.
right. Yeah.
The mindset has to change. We have to empower our kids to make them feel like they can do anything. Even if it's like, I want to build the first flying car. Imagine if Elon Musk's mom said, "No, son, you can't do that. Like, come on, you can't make an electric car." You know what I mean? And here we are. Anything is possible, and so we have to breathe that into our youth. And then we also have to provide the tools as parents, as community. We need to provide the tools for them to do that, which has been the missing piece, in my opinion. Is we don't always um, not everybody is afforded the tools. And so I recognize that, as in my own person, that I am blessed. My husband and I are blessed in the sense that we are able to provide the tools for our kids. And that's because we work hard. Not to say that other people don't work hard. It's just that we don't live a lavish lifestyle. We don't have fancy cars. We don't have a big house. We don't, I save money. I thrift. I do. And I don't have my hair done all the time. I don't. So, our plans, when we've been together, my husband and I, we've been together for 22 years.
Mm.
And um, our plans have always been in one forward direction. Yeah, there are times where life has had its setbacks, but we always have a plan to move forward and be better than we were last year. What can we do? How can we tweak our family plan? What are we going to do about this? How much do we need to save? What is the next goal? And so we are never complacent where we're at. And I think that that's part of what we need to do as a community, is realize that we can't be complacent, never get comfortable. We should be on a constant pursuit of happiness and constant pursuit of success. Everybody's success looks different. But once you reach one level, you should be on the way, you should already be thinking about how you can reach the next.
You saying something that really stands out to me too, where it's yourself and your husband. So many of our children are being raised in single parent
Yeah.
household where they have just a single, they just maybe have their mother or possibly their grandmother
Mhm.
that's raising them, and so even that is a rarity, within the community where you do have that balance of seeing your parents work together. And when you have single mothers, of course, and they probably working two, three jobs to support a household. Maybe they're not always around, and so just these opportunities to even pour into your child, or even having that time to do so, it's just really a challenge.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Nakia made a good point in the comments. I don't know if you saw that, Asante,
Hmm.
about what we think about the Pontiac schools when it comes to the dismantling of the Department of Education. What do you think about that?
Well, well, here's the thing. I think that the Department of Education is just, let me say, it's been failing for years. So the dismantling might be a good thing. Sometimes just because you have, like, again, just because you have a department or agency doesn't, and it's been there for years, doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be tore down and rebuilt. I mean, the Department of Education in the United States, I mean, if you look at the United States compared to other nations in engineering, math, science, we're not doing good compared
Mhm.
to other nations. So what's wrong with going into the Department of Education and finding the flaws and where the miscommunication of money and funding is actually going to? So I don't feel like the Department of Education is going to be tore down. People are acting like the Department of Education is going to go away. It's not. It's just going in, being audited, reformed, and better, and made better. I think this is what's happening to a lot of the different agencies. So I think a lot of fear mongering is going on along in the media that's turning people attention away. Like, oh, look at them now. They're going to tear this department down. They doing this. Elon is doing this. They're doing that. No, they're going in and seeing where the corruption is and the miscommunication of funds or misappropriation of funds, and finding out what's going on and trying to fix this, because our education system is terrible in the United States. There's nothing wrong with them with them going in and finding out what's the problem. And that's how I feel about that. I just think it's a lot of um, I think it's a lot of fear mongering going on, because we actually got somebody that's going in there and with a fine tooth comb. And also, when I believe a lot of people, like you brought up when he said "Make America Great Again," I think in a way what he was saying was, of course, when has it been uh, great for black people? And I know a lot of people say that, but I think what the man is saying is when America is actually producing. America doesn't even produce anything too much anymore. Everything that we got to get from somebody else. So United States needs to be a producer. If a
Mhm.
producer, if we're getting back to being a producing country, then that's going to produce more jobs. And if you notice in the 80s, even though it wasn't great for black people in the 70s and 80s, but black people had them jobs. You know what I'm saying? We had the opportunity to I remember growing up here in Pontiac. Tony, I know you remember here. Everybody had a plant job. Everybody had a car. You Everybody was middle class, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? But when the United States started outsourcing its production, that's really was a big man. That's when everything hit the fan to where we are right now. So I believe that the United States getting back to a producing type country is what the man is really trying to do when he's talking about make America great again, or the golden age. And that's my take on that. And it's the same thing with the Department of Education, because at one point in time, the United States had the best and the brightest. We was the innovators of technology. We're not no more. You know what I mean? Now,
We falling further and further behind countries like China.
hmm so I don't see anything wrong with going in and dismantling the Department of Education or dismantling FEMA, dismantling and finding where all these people are spending this money. And daily we are seeing every day where misappropriation of funds are going every single day. And but that's not being talked about by black people. I'm being
Mm.
quite honest with you. Black people are just concerned to control what, oh, the man and did this, he's signing this and he's signing that. I swear to God, if Kamala would have got in there, it'd have been more of the same and more misappropriation. We would have been continued. The education would have got further and further behind. No, money would have been continued being sent to Afghan. Did you see what they were spending money on? They spent $51 million. Nobody even talk about this. $51
Oh
million
yeah,
dollars
condoms.
on condoms, and the people was taking the condoms, making bombs out of them.
Uh,
You see what I'm saying? Like we don't
well,
talk about that.
they don't talk about that, but they did talk about that. They talked about that on purpose because that's what media does. They find the unicorn in a
Well,
story
what
and
about this
it's
though? Like,
shown. You know,
what about
that's
this? United
always.
States. What about this? United States sending money over there or into England or whatever for homosexual, um, and that's fine. That's prerogative. That's what you do. That's what you do, right? But to fund things, to
Just say
fund things. Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm trying to be careful. Just you know what I mean.
I
Like,
understand. I
but
understand.
to fund stuff that the United States taxpayer has no reason to want to fund. You sending money over somewhere where they can have plays for homosexual plays or whatever, or and like I say, if that's what your life, that's what your life. I'm not tripping off that, but the United States taxpayer shouldn't be paying for that. I regress.
We shouldn't be paying for a lot of stuff. That's just what they want us to see. I mean, we shouldn't be funding as taxpayers. We shouldn't be funding a lot of stuff, but yet we do. And then the stuff that we should be funding, like
So what's wrong with the man coming?
universal.
So what's wrong with the man coming there and chop chop and people don't like him? Like you all should be loving him right now, though. Honestly,
Hey, I don't love the guy. I understand what he's doing.
I love the job that he's doing. Not
I don't love the guy. I don't even know. I don't even know if I like the job that he's doing yet because it hasn't been enough time. He's got to show and prove that his tactics are working. Right now, it's just a bunch of rhetoric. It's just a bunch of talk. You can't go, and every state is different. Every state has their own. What I will say, and I do agree with what Donald is saying, is that every state should be in control of their own spending. Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes we got to take two steps back in order to take a couple of more steps forward. And I agree that there needed to be some reform in the Department of Education. But do we just really got to just yank the carpet
hmm
under people's feet all at once?
Yeah, you do.
I think that
You
I
do.
think
Because 4 years
I
ain't a long time. I mean, we gonna look up and it's time for election again. This man has to do this. You can't be sitting around talking and thinking like, oh, we can have a meeting in May and then they talk May, then they filibuster them and nah, you gotta get to it while you got the numbers to get it done.
Yeah, but then who suffers? I mean, look at our youth. They suffer, and where do we go from there? So they get the short end of the stick as they have um, already, and so now it's just adds additional stress to our economy. It doesn't benefit our economy when parents have to worry about um, how they're going to get where they're going to get their next meal, how if their kids are going to get a proper education, if there's even going to be school lunch for them being provided. And it's an additional level of stress on families. And I'm I agree with you. Our our Department of Education sucks. Like it does. Like I'm not disputing that. Like we need to do better in the United States with our, it's amazing when I go to the doctor, right? I see a bunch of Indians that are all doctors. I'm not trying to stereotype. That is what it is because I'm just speaking off of what I see, And so we see, and then when we look at engineers, we see a lot of engineers. They're Asian. And so when we
Mhm.
look at stuff like that, we're like, why aren't we producing that level of talent that we see this and we notice it? I mean, do y'all notice it? You go to the doctor's office and what do you see?
Right.
You go,
Indian doctors and Asian
yeah,
and mhm.
yeah. So that should tell us something. They are reaching their level of education is at a different rate than ours, and so I agree it does need to be looked at. Um, but America relies so much on the capitalism. We have to have, these other countries. They are not dealing with have and have nots. Some of them are dealing with. They don't have a democracy.
Mhm.
Um, some of them might have, they're socialists. Some of them might be communist communities. Some of them. So the government looks a little different over
In
there.
some countries, isn't college even like free for everyone?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
That'd be nice. I
It
know.
would be.
I know some people. Well, they had the thing with the college forgiveness or the loans or whatever, how that goes. But I don't know anybody that really got the forgiveness.
Yeah, I think Congress shot that down.
But see,
So I
this
think
lets you know.
Joe Biden wanted to write that into law where there was forgiveness for student loan debt, but it got shot down. He
See,
was
but
not
look at
able to
this.
follow
Look at
through.
this, April. This is what I'm saying. This is so hypocritical. You don't have money to forgive loans, but you have money for immigrants illegally to come. Now think about that. You know what I'm saying? That
Hmm.
you got an opportunity to forgive loans for people, American citizens, but then you have all this money for illegal immigrants that come and get the benefit that they don't deserve. You can't. That's oxymoronish, and you can't have that both ways. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not like something has to
Well, I
be
mean,
done about this.
at the end of the day, we're all humans, right? So it's not that one should be privileged over the other.
Well, if you're a
Anybody
citizen, you should be.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like because we are U.S. citizens,
Right.
that we should first get the best of the best of the
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. And it sounds like where you have issue and concern is with the immigrants who are coming here who are criminals, and then also taking advantage of the system and maybe getting benefits that you feel like they don't deserve. And so I feel like it's not my place to say who and what somebody else deserves because hell, I'm not even getting the things that I deserve from this country. This country owes me 40 acres and a mule. Where's my 40 acres and a mule from my ancestors? Like what, we're still not getting what we
But
deserve.
I'd be mad just to see, look, if I got my kid and then another kid from down the street, and it's only one piece of pizza left.
Hmm.
Hey, and both kids is hungry. I'm sorry, my kid is getting a piece of pizza, and you have to take care of your own before you can actually be able to, you know what I mean, do for others. And
And
I
charity begins at home.
it begins at home, and I know it's
Yeah,
a
but when has that ever happened? Y'all
it,
tell me a time
it
in
look like it's trying
history.
to happen now.
So we're gonna let Donald Trump prove and show that he can make America great and turn it and make golden ages happen for all people. Let's just hope he's not talking about his top 1% and it actually trickles down. I personally don't uh I'm I'm going to try and be optimistic because we're in it.
Yeah.
We ain't got no choice. We're in it. We got to make the best out of the situation. But I think that as a community, we need to get back to focusing on us as a community. We need to drown out the noise because The United States has never been for us. It's never been for our progress. There has never been. We have to be for our own progress as people. We have to bootstrap it like we used to, and we've become complacent. We have, and like you said, we can do all this talking and all of that. But next, we need to talk about, okay, how do we buy this block? How do we put our money together, and how do we control real estate? Because that's how they do it, right? Real estate. When you can control real estate, then you can control the infrastructure around you, because then you when you buy blocks or when you buy real estate, then you can buy grocery stores to provide for the people who are residing in the real estate that you purchased. Then you can then they're going to need a hospital. Then we could talk about buying a hospital. Then we could talk about, so all of these things require money. And you know
Right.
how they do it? They use other people's money. They use other people's money, and
Yeah.
sometimes and it's collaboration. That's how downtown Pontiac got bought up. You think downtown Pontiac was just like that? That wasn't just a bunch of rich people that came together and bought some buildings. No, it was some collaboration that happened. I know in the very space that I first operated in when I was in the downtown area, that building was purchased back when Pontiac assets were being sold off for $50,000. Now, can you imagine? Had I known that that building was being sold for $50,000, me and some friends would have gotten together and bought that building. But we didn't know that. We didn't know that because they don't. We don't have. I was not educated enough. I will put it on me. I was not educated enough to know that that's what I needed to do.
Right.
And so that's where it starts. It starts with us realizing that, okay, we need to create our own dream. We need to create our own American dream. The American dream was never for us as a people. And when you kind of touched on it, from the biblical sense, but the American dream is not our dream. Our dream as a people is to be free of bondage and free and shackled minds. We need to come together and work together. And
I'm with you. I'm with you with that. I'm with you with that. I believe that. Sorry, Tony, did I cut you off or from saying anything?
Oh, no, go ahead, Asante.
Um, I don't think any country on the face of this planet is for quote unquote black people. Not America. You could drop us off in England, it's the same. Canada, Mexico,
mm,
anywhere you go, it's not. You know what I mean? So we're here though.
right.
And like so I'm quite honest, I'd rather be here than over any other place,
Mhm.
as it stands. But when it goes to, like you said, buying real estate, when we look at when we saw things like Black Wall Street, and we talk about when America was quote unquote great again or whatever the case again. When you look at a situation like a Black Wall Street, that was during a time that even though black people were treated bad, all types, there was money flowing because the United States was a producer. So
Mm,
what happened was those black people were able to make money legitimately, and then we had the the bootleggers. We had that type of economy too. But the United States was a producer at that point in time, and black people were able to get legit money and buy and invest in their community. Now there's no legit money to really be made like that. You know what I'm saying? Because America's not a producer. So as America becomes, or hopefully becomes, a producer, then it becomes the opportunity to become a person that can legitly buy real estate. Because a lot of the only ways that you can buy real estate now is unless you have the bread, unless you got the credit to go get it. Um, and if you don't have that, then what do? You know what I'm saying? There's not the good jobs that used to be where you could sustain buying a property or
mm,
linking up with a bunch of people to do so. You know what I'm saying? So Has America been ever great for black people? No. Has it been better than what it was before for black people? Yeah. Where I'm just saying on the economic level, we were even closer. You know, when when people have a little bit of money flowing, everybody along a little bit better. You know,
Mm,
so it's like that's all I'm looking at it on the economic level. Like, no, it hasn't been ever great for us, but
Even
there
if
was.
just
Go ahead.
okay, I ain't cut you off, did I?
No, no, go ahead, bro.
Okay, even just narrowing it down to, I would say even a little bit uh, more narrow than us as black people. When I think about just our community uh, being more than likely a part of, many of us more than likely are going to probably fall in the 89% of America, making under $100,000 per year. We know that we got the 1% of America that's really controlling about 90% of the money. And then you mentioned something, April, as well, as in terms of us seeing it possibly even trickle down. In many cases, I can't think of a time where anything trickled down to the 89%, at
mm,
best maybe into the 11% of America, but not necessarily into the 89%. Didn't matter who was in office, Republican or Democrat. I can't think of a time where there's been notable change because of who was in office that we saw take place, even within just our even within our communities, in terms of urban community, urban society. So very rarely, I mean, no matter who is in office, very rarely is there any huge change that take place where we feel it, well, wow, this has happened, or schools are better, or education is better now. uh, I mean, at best, it very rarely impacts us at all.
true. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
I
know.
agree. I do think that we need to be more productive in being producers. Um, we need to be part of the fabric of what a producer is. You know, we need to our next generation. They need to be more into manufacturing. You know, we went through ages in American history where we went through, you know, the Industrial Revolution, where it was like cars were being built, and that's what everybody wanted to do. And now we're evolving again as the world evolves. We have to be teaching our kids to be 3 steps ahead. And now we're in a digital age where we're no longer thinking um, about what was okay in the past. With we It would be crazy to encourage our kids to fall into um, jobs that might be taken over by digital age, by AI. So we have to be constantly on the forefront, and maybe we need to encourage our kids to be producers of some of these technologies. I mean, we've got everything is going to be what do you call it? Robotic. Everything's going to be robotic. Well, the robot's got to be fixed. Somebody's got to fix the robot. So we need to teach our kids that these are the fields that we need to go into. I remember when I was going into grade school, and nobody was talking about the trades. Now there's a deficit in the trades. Like nobody wants to go into the trades because it wasn't talked about. It wasn't the cool thing to do. What was the cool thing was to get into a corporate job, and then the joke's on us because we get into corporate America and we find out that it's not all that it's cracked up to be. You
Right.
work twice as hard for a salary that you doesn't matter what you can be. You can have the best performance, be on top of your game, and at the end of the year you're still getting the same salary. You might even get work more than 40 hours. And then we were taught that, hey, this is part of the American dream. We want to work corporate. And meanwhile, people who fell into the trades, they are living the American dream and their American dream. They're the ones that are flexible in hours. They have, time with their families. They come and go as they please. They start their own businesses. They go to work what days that they want to. Every day is a different day for them. You go to corporate, you go into your corporate job, it's the same mundane things, Monday through Friday, same mundane schedule, nothing gratifying in that. And so now we're changing, we're changing again as a country. Now we're going into that AI technology and that digital age. Are we even poised to? So yeah, we do need to be more producers, and America has not been in the past. But where do we even fall in that? Especially when other countries like China are so much further along in those sectors. They're so much further along in technology, so much further along and robotics. They're so much further along. So they've put us with America, the United States is what we have going for us is we're a capitalist country. Like our economy works because we rely on capitalism. Other countries, they don't solely rely on capitalism. They are producers, and to the point where we rely on them. That's why we've got the tariffs going. We've got the tariffs going because we rely on them more than they probably rely on us. Because we do produce, we do have some oil, we do have lumber, we do have some things, but what are we on the cutting edge and the forefront of anything? Can we? I don't, and I could be ill in speaking, but I just don't know what we are in the forefront of when it comes to technology uh, that other countries don't already have.
That's a good question right there. I think in a lot of ways, like say for instance with the tariffs, with Canada and Mexico, I mean, we're the biggest purchaser from them, so they need us. You know what I mean? But we also need them. But I think a lot of things that we're getting from Mexico and Canada, we have the opportunity to produce here. I think United States, one of the problems was that it'd be like, okay, we got oil, we got all this stuff, we got the opportunity and the ability to create steel and do iron work and all this, but we're just gonna buy it from them and save all our stuff for some reason. Like we saving it for a rainy day or something. It seemed like it's like, if we got it, why not use it? Why not make it here? But all I can say right now is that I'm happy that the initiative is being taken to go ahead and do it now. Yeah, people might suffer a little bit, maybe because of the tariffs or whatever the case may be, things may go up. But without any type of suffering, there won't be any type of growth. There won't be any type of saving grace without a price to pay. Something has to happen in order for something to happen. So, you gotta kind of almost fall on the sword a little bit just for tomorrow to probably be better, because at this point you have to make a drastic decision, because if you don't do it now, the United States may not have the leverage power the next 4 to 5 to 6 years to do what it's trying to do right now. So you kind of got to do it now if you're going to do it. So yeah, we fall behind like you said, in technology, AI. We not where we should, as far as the country shouldn't be, is where it should be right now. But some drastic things have to be made right now, and I'm glad that they're actually being made right now, because I don't know how the world's going to go, but if it's going to be around for another 100 years or so, it things have to happen or change right now for this country in order for it to survive and be competitive. United States is not going to be competitive in the next 10 years if things kept going the way that they were. It was getting weaker by the year. You know what I'm saying? So You know,
Even countries like China, where they're sending their children to school all year round. A lot of our kids, they lose what they retained. They lose that when they take 2 months off here, and a lot of the time that they have out of school, or countries like China, they kids don't get no breaks.
and teach them martial arts too. I had to say them some
Mhm.
bad kids.
Yeah, they keep
They in
them
the middle.
active.
And,
Right.
and other countries, you got to go to the military. I don't care if you serve what, like a year. They make you. I ain't saying that we should do that here now, but
Right.
they get some sense of
This.
patriotism or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of military, I don't know if this is a known fact for y'all, but it is a true fact that part of the immigration that we see, um, when we witness a lot of the immigration that was a flow in the Biden administration, and even in Obama administration. Part of it was because we were down in recruitment in our military. So when Americans won't, immigrants will. So there was some trading that happened,
mhm.
um, and immigrants were allowed to come to the United States, join our military, and in lieu gain a faster pace to citizenship.
Now that's a good trade off.
Hmm.
What you think about that, Tom? I mean,
I
you
think
think?
that's a good. I think that's a good trade-off. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a real good trade off.
So that's what's been happening. Part of that, that's what's been happening, and sometimes companies will do that as well. They'll bring in, our own first lady. She was brought in via visa because she was a model. She was sponsored, and this happens. This happens not just in those type of facets, but it happens in a lot of different ones. Where companies will sponsor somebody from another country, and in lieu of working for them for X amount of years, they have an easier path for citizenship.
Hmm.
And so yeah, they are giving. There is a lot of trade-offs that do happen um, when we talk about immigration. They're just not just coming in, just flooding without no intent and purpose. Some are. I'm not saying that some are just want to come in and just work, and want to go back home. Some people don't even want to stay. They just want to work, make a little money, and go back home. So
When
it's
I
just
was in South Carolina, and this is just taking a look at even how states differ as it relates to even the mentality or the mindset around even the military. Like here in Michigan, I very rarely run into like somebody that's in the military. I know we don't have like a military base here or whatnot, but there's a military base in South Carolina where I live, in Columbia, South Carolina, out there. And it's almost like that is almost just like I don't know, like a go-to job, like a thing to do. Most kids there, if they hadn't figured out what they're gonna do with their life by a certain time, it all else fails. I'm going to the military. They enroll into the military, like 40 going north out there, whereas growing up, I could hardly. My granddad was in the military, but I didn't grow up. If there wasn't two, I can't even recall like. And this may have happened. Maybe I just don't remember. But I don't even remember too many recruiters like coming to like the schools and things like that to recruit kids, for the military. But there, the recruiters are at the schools. It's almost like if I've graduated and hadn't did nothing with my life, within a year or so, all else fails. Before I go to jail, I'm going to the military. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that's something, and it's prevalent. You see people in military uniforms. Everywhere you go, you see young people with you know. with fatigues and stuff on, and that's actually in the military, not sporting it. But yeah, and I very rarely even I don't see that. I don't see there where there's even a heavy
I don't even see that
military
no more. Yeah,
influence
I don't even see it
uh,
no more. Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. We don't really see that too much, and um, the recruitment. I think they just released a study or a statistic recently that said that recruitment is at an all time high now. That
Oh
there's
wow.
been a lot of and for a while it was just also a target was just in urban communities where they were only heavily recruiting in the urban communities. Now it seems like there's recruitment that's happening everywhere, which is a good thing. Maybe that's part of the plan, is to make people excited here in the United States to protect our country, um, where we don't have to get immigrants from Asia and Mexico and Middle East to come in. So that is a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, I really enjoyed this conversation because I know more or less yesterday was today's conversation is basically the conversation I wanted to have yesterday. But Tony, I know you probably missed it, but we had Gil Garrett popped on because he's running for mayor. So he came on and told us a little bit about his reasoning for throwing his hat in the race, and so we got on topic with him about what he's trying to do. But I'm glad we had this conversation because this the conversation that I was really kind of on my heart for the last month or so. It's been a weird month for me, you guys. I mean, no, it's been a weird year. Put it like that so far. But I'm here. I made it. You know what I'm saying? Thus far, you know what I mean? By the grace of God, and thankful for that. But yeah, I'm glad just to be back online because I took a little, I guess, more or less of a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit. But I'm glad to be back, and especially with April, which you was able to contribute yesterday, and just for talking, and I had people come to me or say to me like, "Wow, she's really good." You know what I'm saying? you
No,
know, and,
thanks.
and Tony, what I'm saying, Tony, I told Tone I was gonna reach out to him when I got back to doing it.
Yeah,
Tone is like a real voice. He like the voice of reason type of guy.
Mhm.
He know how to
appreciate you
will
having
it,
me on, Sante.
but but it as a consistent situation. Tony, I'm gonna always send you the link, man, whenever I come on, and I'm gonna try to come on more consistent and like just have these type of conversations. Sometimes they unpopular. I like to tackle and talk about the things that sometimes it's kind of hard to talk about. Sometimes I like to talk about the religious aspect of conversation. A lot of people stay away from those things. Um,
Religion and politics. Yeah,
that's what people,
Yeah.
yeah, and I get it, and I understand why people want to stay away from it. I get it because it can affect your money, it can affect your relationships, it can affect a lot. So, but I think we just in a time and day we got to really kind of pick a side.
Yeah.
We got to pick a side. You know what I mean, and, and ride with it.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
we
Yeah,
in
and we
that
can
day, we
all
in that
learn
day
from
of
each
age.
other.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, is that we have to understand that, just because we have our own perspectives and stuff, we can always learn something from each other. We may not agree all the time, but there's going to be a couple of nuggets that we're like, oh, I didn't think about it this
yeah.
way. And so I think these conversations, and I love that you're having these conversations. I'm on board for more of them. I
Yeah.
think it's a necessary. I think that having perspectives and having different ones, and getting deep with it. I think that we tuck too many things under the rug, and when we do that, part of it, we lose our history, who we are as a people. We lose vital information to help us succeed in the future. And so we need to be more transparent in our thoughts and goals of how we're going to get things done. So I'm with it.
I don't think there's any growth without someone thinking objectively.
Mm,
and that's this, how we grow, being able to look at things from someone else's perspective. And when you got people who can have adult mature conversations,
Hmm.
where no
That's
one's
the key.
taking it personal and being offended because someone disagrees with them.
right.
Because I disagree with you don't mean I don't like you, or you know I can love you and disagree with you at the same time, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for, because I don't, just because we disagree don't mean that we don't like each other. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, there might be a perspective nugget, like April said, that we can all, you know, you get a little bit of meat off the bone that you want to digest. I ain't got to eat the whole pork chop. You know what I mean? The
That's
whole
right.
thing. I can eat the little piece that I need. So, but yeah, y'all. I know it's getting a little bit late. Y'all got things probably to do, like rest. But I'll probably be. Well, I know we got a big snow coming, man. We got four,
Ooh-wee.
5 inches. It said
I know.
it's crazy.
The baby, my youngest one, he's already talking about, Mom, we ain't gonna have no school on Thursday. I said, yeah, maybe.
Tony, you
But
gonna be
yeah,
out there with
I
them
already
grandkids?
know. Huh?
I
Nah,
said
nah,
Tone gonna be out there with them grandkids making
Oh man,
snowmen.
they're all coming to your house,
nah.
Tony.
They had me out there a few weeks ago and I hadn't been out there in so long. They was sliding down the hill at Murphy Park where the old toboggan used to be.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Had they sleds out there. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And anytime. I didn't see yesterday's broadcast, but I'm gonna go back and take a look at it.
Okay. Well, with that being said, any and everybody that's watching, thanks for tuning in to Pontiac WYAC DM.3, number one on your DM dial for a reason. But yeah, keep God first, family second, and you third. And in that order, you should never be made last, because the last is always made first. And just what I feel. Any last words, April?
My last words are community. We gotta rely on each other. Like, let's lean on each other, and we got this. We can accomplish anything together. That's the key. We gotta do it together.
Yes, ma'am. Tone, last word?
Everyone just have a powerfully productive and prosperous remainder of your week. And blessings, grace, and peace.
All right, there we go. All right, you guys, thanks for coming on with me, man. And see y'all next time. Hopefully, y'all come on
All
with me.
right.
All
All
right.
right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.